I was mailed a diary. Someone's on me, but I don't think they're working against me. I think they're here to help. The government's killing musicians. It started with Tupac and Biggie. None of us know where it's gonna end, but I'm surprised that the nation hasn't noticed, with all these big-time rappers dropping dead like flies, that the government's behind it. But every day, the industry welcomes a new artist to the game, a new target to be put down at a due date. Their songs have messages, which more than likely led to their demise. They knew too much, and many others will fall to the same fate. The government can't be stopped. They run the world. But the artist's songs have reached a global sensation. They managed to share the message with the world before they died. This pandemic isn't even real. It's just so they can cover their tracks and put an X on the next victim's forehead. Juice mentioned December 8th. It's not a coincidence. It wasn't then, and it isn't now. Pop Smoke recovered from coronavirus, just to die a few weeks later. There is a pattern. They both died just before dropping their albums. Read and understand the message, analyze the lyrics. They mean something. The government can't be stopped, but they can be exposed. There are power in numbers. I know it's hard to believe, but think about it. X, Lil Peep, Nipsey sound like they were taken by hooligans or drugs. But it's more than that, so much more. Innocent people are going to jail for murders that they did not commit. Snoop Dogg was a target once. He flew under the radar just by the skin of his teeth. He had songs that he was about to release, but he never dropped them, and they were wiped from all system databases. They were called The Truth, The Serum, and guess what? There were facts in those songs that could have cost him his life. Maybe he was visited by the CIA or the FBI, and that's what changed his mind about their releases. I don't know, but something spooked him. 69 knows the truth as well, but he's working for them. If it were me, I'd take the title of snitch and a few years jail time in exchange for my life. I would rat out everybody and anybody and sign a lifetime contract to work alongside them. But then again, that's not entirely true. Because if it were, I would have never written these diary passages. But enough's enough. It's not about being brave or going against them. It's about justice. I was mailed the diary, but I know it's the truth because I was one of them. Not asking questions, covering up their tracks. The things I've sinned, the things I've done, I can never undo or unsee. They burn a hole in my memory. It's partly my fault, but I didn't know what we were doing was wrong. Not until I witnessed what they went through with my own eyes. They were tortured in the most unimaginable ways, driven insane with inhumane practices. It's not just the musicians, but prison convicts as well. The ones on parole or reduced sentences. No matter how harsh their crimes, no one deserves to go through what they went through. I was young and raised to believe what we were doing was right. Like I was a bounty hunter enforcing the law, making the streets safe. I didn't know that I was the monster. My gut never sat right, which is why I left. People in their own close-knit circles, family, they were part of it, and they traded them in like they were most wanted criminals. They lost everything when they did that to them. They lost their human rights, their soul, and worst of all, they lost their lives. This is the third time in history that it's happened. First, in 1572, the assassins were known as the Dark Masks, and they slaughtered women that had given birth to more than 3 children in a village in the early Middle East called Enja. The second was 1756. They don't record that in the history books though. Believe it or not, they have powder that they release into the oxygen that can make mankind forget. At the end of this pandemic, when we look back in 5 years, I don't believe anyone will remember it. It's impossible to know who the next target is, but it's between Kodak Black, Lil Uzi, Dr. Dre, and Roddy Ricch. They have all flagged red on the government's radar. They're probably being followed as you read this, or a member of their circle's been infiltrated. Someone knows too much, and their days have become numbered. That's even if they're still alive. That's how they operate. They stalk, they infiltrate, and when the time's right, they assassinate. They can't be stopped. They can't be saved. Like James Bond, they have a license to kill anybody that gets in their way. They call it safe haven, at least when they bring the prisoners in. We called it the torture chambers because we knew what happened when you wronged the government and stepped foot into their base. Just like the boy in striped pajamas with the Jews when they entered the gas chambers under the false pretenses that it was a shower, just to be burnt alive. Inhumane torture. You belong to them once you cross that threshold. No more rights, no regard for human life, no sense of right and wrong, and no such thing as law. It's ruthless. Since I got out, my cards have been blocked, no access to their base or their systems. Me and Yoshi both got out at the same time, but some of us are still on the inside. Alec, he's a computer tech, and he knows everything that's about to happen. Doranjo, Del, and Dreddy, they're still working for them until me and Yoshi can find a way to publicly expose the government worldwide forever. It will more than likely cost us our lives, but the world will know the truth, and countless lives will be saved. My dad, he's one of the top dogs on the inside. Sometimes when I'm in bed at night, the carbon dioxide alarm goes off, and it's hard to breathe, like my lungs are filled with homicidal oxygen. I think my daddy's on me, but I will expose the truth before I become another body.